Welcome back to Ringer Tailgate. I'm your host, Tate Frazier, and we are here to have a fun time talking about college football. We got big reactions, big questions, fraud detection, and of course, Big Van on campus. But first and foremost, let's say what's up to Van Lathan. Van, good to see you on this Wednesday, man. How you doing?
What is going on? The Wednesday before the storm. What a big weekend of college football coming up, guys.
He's already pump faking. Yeah, it's one of the best weeks we've seen in college football. Obviously, week 1 got a lot of love, but week 5 is going to be great. And of course, Joel Anderson is here as well. Joel, good to see you, man. How you doing?
Man, got 2 more days. Big 12 showdown in Tempe, Arizona. Have y'all ever been to Tempe? I've never been to Arizona.
Oh wow, Mister! I've lived everywhere. Never been to Arizona.
I've only done layovers in the Phoenix airport. I've never been to the state. I want to go real bad, real bad. But yeah,
never done Arizona before, which is interesting because a lot of my friends say that the Scottsdale area is where an older conservative woman can show you the ins and outs of the second part of her life. That's what I hear.
Huh.
A lot of great golf.
Well, you know what I remember? They did Playboy did a very long interview with Emmitt Smith.
Very long.
And this is when he was with the Cowboys, right? And he said, and I'll never forget this, they asked him what NFL city has the best looking women. And he said Phoenix. And then I just took note when he signed with the Cardinals. Yep, at the end of his career. So
he was like, if I'm a break the Russian record, I might as well break some other things too.
Go hard off the field and on the field. That's the way to do it. Shout out.
Y'all remember the Emmitt Smith clip of him singing along to Kanye? You remember that?
No.
Oh, God. There is a clip of Emmitt Smith. Y'all seen this, man. There's a clip of Emmitt Smith singing along to Kanye and Jeezy. He's going, I feel like I got still bitches that owe me sex. Emmitt, I could just tell Emmitt gets into it. That's all I'm saying. Move on.
Let's give some love to Emmitt Smith. You know what I mean? That's what we're supposed to do on the show. But again, we got a big show, college football, big week, big reactions, big questions, all that and more coming up here on Ringer Tailgate. This is Ringer Tailgate presented by FanDuel, and college football Saturdays are already delivering. Every game means something right now. Ranking shift, upsets hit, and the best place to stay on top of it all, FanDuel. Whether you're riding a noon kickoff or betting the late games, FanDuel lets you bet it your way. Same game parlays, live betting, player props, alt lines, whatever your angle is, it lives in the app. So if you're watching all the action, bet on it now with FanDuel. Download the app and head to FanDuel.com/tailgate and make every Saturday count. The Ringer is committed to responsible gaming. Please visit rg-help.com to learn more about the resources and helplines available and listen to the end of the episode for additional details. All right, let's get to it. Ringer Tailgate. Like we said, a big week. We'll get to the previews a little bit later, but first we got to get to the reactions. We talked on Saturday a little bit. We talked Dabo, Fran Brown. That was probably the biggest shocker of the weekend. But one big reaction, Van, I go to you first. What was your one big reaction from over the weekend?
My one big reaction is actually a larger thought. Talent is meaningless. Talent is meaningless. It's meaningless in college football. Talent doesn't mean anything. It's a meaningless collection of skills. The only thing that I am going off of now is production. Only production matters. I'm seeing kids that are coming from low D1 school, FCS schools, right? I'm seeing kids that are coming from places where they never got a chance. I watched a kid from Southeastern Proctor at defensive tackle wreck the LSU offensive line. Not that that's that difficult to do. But I'm seeing players who know how to produce dominate players that have the 40s and the shuttle drills and the verticals and the bench presses. I'm watching production beat talent at every single turn. I'm watching football players win. And I don't want to hear anymore about where you project a guy, about his measurables, about what he's going to do, when, how, where. It's a wooza, it's a waza, it's a whatever. I want to talk about the people who are producing, who are winning one-on-ones, who are making plays, who are making reads. That is what we talk about. That's what we should be talking about. The talent seems to be evaporating at so many different schools all over the country.
And I will say, Yeah, I was going to say, this feels like you're calling out the Clemson Tigers because, again, the most talented team in the country, and right now sitting at 1-3. And
allegedly.
Yeah, exactly. Preseason most talented team in the country, and the town is not working out. And I remember Drew League, they had the slogan, no excuse, just produce.
Just produce. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, no excuse, just produce. And so I'm saying, it's not just Clemson. I don't want to just pick on the kids over there at Clemson, but I'm just seeing this everywhere. We do the preseason rankings, and they make sense in order to contextualize the season. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not that big of a purist. But what I am is someone that's saying, we're talking about so many different variables in college football. LSU is up against a quarterback this weekend who came from a school that most people haven't even heard about, but he's playing fantastic because he's a football player.
Right.
Football player, right? So I am off of the talent, but I'm also seeing, last thing I'll say, I'm watching 5 stars along our offensive line at LSU getting pushed around. So no more. Don't tell me nothing else. You got to show me.
Joel's just laughing.
I respect it. I respect it. I mean, the thing is that, so much of this is, evaluation is just so hard. High school kids, you just never know who's going to, keep their head on straight, who's going to, who developed, really early and doesn't have that much more to go. There was, I ain't gonna say this kid's name. When I was in Tampa, there was a kid. He was the number 1 rated recruit in the country, and people could probably look it up and figure out who it is. He was a defensive lineman, and the dude looked like a grown ass man. Like I remember, he was a sophomore, and he came to practice at this school in Tampa, and I was like, man, where did he used to play at, bro? Like he's Florida State or something like that. And he was a sophomore in high school. Like he was just like rocked up. And he, went to college, did okay. He ended up having to transfer and go someplace else. And I think maybe he spent a couple years in the league. But it was just like, man, evaluation is just so tough at that level. And then the thing is, too, is like a lot of the people that are doing the evaluation, not that I've been around football my whole life. I thought Trent Richardson was going to be a great running back, right? Like, I thought Pat Mahomes was going to be terrible. So we all can get it wrong sometimes. Man, I saw Pat Mahomes play against TCU. And I was just like, this trash. Like, I was just like, what is this trash against us, man? I was so frustrated.
I saw Texas Tech play against LSU in the Texas Bowl, and I was like, yo, man, how the fuck they get this motherfucker? I saw him play against LSU, and I'm like, how they get this guy? Look at what we got at QB. No disrespect.
Was it Zach Mettenberger?
But I don't know if it was Mettenberger at that time. That Texas Bowl was 17, 16, whatever it was. But I remember watching him play and thinking, God damn, this dude here is crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I know that people can get it wrong, but it's just like the evaluation that happens at that level is a whole bunch of people that are willing to do it and not necessarily are great at it. So I get where Van's coming from. But like the thing is, all things being equal, I want talent. You know what I mean? And I figured that's the thing that Nick Saban figured out. It's just like, I can get talent, but I also know how to motivate it and develop it. I don't want, if I'm a coach, try hard is cool, but I want talent.
And production matters. I think that's the big point there. Production does matter.
That matters.
Yeah.
It's literally the only thing that matters. The only thing that matters is how well you do a thing when you're given the opportunity to do it. It's the only thing that matters. Like, your ability to maybe do that thing, that's talent. And that's very important because then that decides how much people invest into you. I get that. Joel is right. But the only thing that actually matters is how well you do the thing. And I like production. I'm a production guy.
Let's get hit with the first fact here because we're talking about production, and this is pretty fascinating. The top 7 transfer portal classes in college football are a combined 27-0 right now. So that goes back to they produced somewhere else. They were identified as producers, and they come up, bump up a level, bump up to a different team, and now they're producing wins. LSU, Texas Tech, Miami, Ole Miss, Oregon, FSU, Mizzou, combined 27-0. Joel, is that something that you buy into, or is that just a coincidence at this point?
I'll buy into it if they're 54-0 at the end of October.
Okay. Damn, they can't lose one game? Joel.
Well, I think that it's really tough to know who's good. Like, do we actually know if UCF is good? Do we know if Texas Tech is good? It's really hard because a lot of the teams have not gone through their conference schedule yet. They've not gone through tough times yet. So I judge a team like really it's about like mid-October, I feel like, when I have a sense of how good a team actually is, because they've been through some tough times. Injuries have piled up. Maybe the weather turns bad. You know, you've stayed focused. You've kept a bunch of 18 to 23-year-olds focused for 2 months at a time. So I think that it's good. And obviously, like Texas Tech and Miami, they've done a great job in assembling a lot of talent and bringing it in, right? And getting immediate results. But I mean, the thing about that too is that LSU, Miami, Oregon, FSU, Ole Miss, all those schools are talented all the time anyway, right? Like that's kind of what they're working with anyway. And it doesn't matter how they assemble the talent, whether it's through the portal or whether they recruit them, they're going to have talent on those teams and they're probably going to do well. But I want to see what's going to happen when Texas Tech, now they've got to depend on their backup quarterback, Hammond, or, one of those defensive linemen gets nicked up, or they're playing against BYU in mid-November and it's snowing outside. Like I want to know what all that's going to mean in a couple of months. I don't think right now that I can read too much into the record of all these teams that have compiled all that talent via the transfer portal.
And it's a little bit of a cherry pick stat, right? I mean, if you do the top 6, top 7 classes, right, Van? 6, 7.
Yeah, I mean, you go deeper, maybe the records change or whatever.
So, well, the 9th best class was UNC. So you go down 2 levels,
damn,
right? And it's over.
They got Gio Lopez, man.
But I mean, what it does go to show is that for these big time schools, the development of the players they already have. Once again, we've talked about this before. I've talked about this before. The development of the players they already have will sometimes come in second to going and get somebody who produced somewhere else. So if you look at the results there. LSU, Texas, Miami, Ole Miss. These are not so much Ole Miss, Oregon. These are top flight schools. These are schools that have had a lot of success. And that means if you are, I can think of all kinds of players at LSU who the light didn't come on freshman year. It didn't come on. Like there's Badger who right away, that kid's got something. But then there are other players. Remember Jason Campbell from Auburn?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the senior year that Jason Campbell had? When he all of a sudden had a grasp of the offense, the talent around him, it all came together. You wonder right now if that guy gets that opportunity to do that, or if in this college football landscape they bring in someone else. So there's a double-edged sword with this because there are kids behind that need reps, behind some of these guys in these schools that need reps, and you wonder whether or not they're going to get those reps when the production is so easy to bring into these schools that have all these resources.
I'm going to throw a name at you, Van. I'm going to throw a name at you. Because a guy that I think of when I think of Russell Shepard. You remember Russell Shepard?
I do remember Russell Shepard. Yeah. Number 1 dual threat quarterback from Houston.
Yep. Played wide receiver too, right? They moved him all over. Yep.
Let me tell you something about Russell Shepard that I always love. That's one of the truest Tigers that ever existed. Because Russell being the number 1 dual threat QB and coming to LSU was a big deal. But man, did Russell Shepard love LSU. He loved LSU. I remember watching him in a high school game, a high school like all-star game. He's out there trying to recruit guys, get them to come to LSU. They tried him at slot, at halfback, at wide receiver. He played everywhere just to make use of that athleticism. And then I can make an argument that it never actually even came together for Shep in college, period. Mm-hmm. And then he gets to the NFL and has a fantastic career. But what a Tiger. What a great football story, Russell Shepard, man.
And Patrick Peterson, right, was on that team as well. And he was sort of the guy that was the breakout star of that group. I remember I was at that game, 2010, open the season, Chick-fil-A kickoff, North Carolina, LSU. North Carolina has like 15 players suspended because of the Butch Davis times. And Patrick Peterson ran a punt back in that game. It was incredible. Shout out to Russell Shepard. Haven't heard and talked about him in a long time. One big reaction, Joel.
He opened up a sanitation business.
Shout out.
He did.
Sounds like a good business.
Yeah, and he got he stayed long enough to get his NFL pension, and now he's a businessman.
Yeah, cut the check.
Russell's doing well, man. Shout out to Russ. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, we got to get that jersey. That LSU Russell Shepard jersey, number 0. It's a great jersey. Next up, one big reaction, Joel. What do you got on the board?
So this is the caveat I'm going to put here, and Tate and Van will have to vouch for me.
We will vouch.
I put this in the prep document hours before we got the release that he got injured. But I said that John Mateer isn't going to make it through the season.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was, and so we got the release a couple of days ago that he had broken a bone in his throwing hand, his right hand,
his
in
thumb,
the first
right?
quarter. Yeah,
it's his thumb. Yep,
his thumb against then the first quarter of that game against Auburn, right? But even before that news, it was just obvious to me that they were running him too much. Like he had too much of a burden, so he's dropping back 35 times a game, but also they ran him 43 times. He's the Sooners' leading rusher. He's rushed 43 times for 190 yards. And that's like, about 10, 12 ahead of the next leading guy, Torrey Blaylock, a freshman. And so, but the scariest part of that number to me was that when the games were tight, when the defenses were good, they needed him so much. Like he had 19 carries versus Michigan, didn't even average 4 yards a carry. He had 10 against Auburn. It just seemed like that load was untenable. And I was like, man, how is this guy going to survive all year if you keep running him up into the defense like that and you're expecting him to throw? It just seemed, he's not Tommy Frazier. You know what I mean? Like it just, I don't think they wanted to have to play him like that, but it obviously Oklahoma didn't have a running game, or they didn't feel like they had enough running threats to generate enough of a game. So I'm hoping now, like I like OU, man. I spent some time in OU. It's a program that I've got some warmth towards. So I hope Michael Hawkins Jr. can pass. It didn't
started
like
4 games last year. At least he has some experience. Played against Texas last year, right? I mean, he's a dual threat guy. He can run a little bit on his own. And also Jaden Ott, right, who they brought from Cal. He was supposed to be the back for them.
Still waiting for him to kind of break out, though.
So that's the thing. That's I was going to say. He was one of the top running backs out of the portal. And he was supposed to have been a huge coup for the Sooners out of the portal. And he's got 9 carries for 17 yards.
Wow, I didn't even know that stat. That's crazy.
Yeah, Brent Venables has been sort of coy about what's going on. He was just like, well, maybe he's not fully healthy because he was hurt a lot last year. But then he said something last week. He was like, you wish he was a little further along in every way. I don't know what that sounds kind of like. Is he hurt? Is he in the doghouse? Something like that. But
he's definitely hurt. He's definitely in the doghouse.
Yeah.
Further along in every way says every way includes study. Every way includes grasp of the offense. Every way includes a lot of things that don't have anything to do with whether or not you're seeing it on the field. Some of that stuff is effort stuff.
And how you're attacking rehab, right?
Sure.
That too, right? So if Oklahoma's going to get through this stretch, and so the good thing for them is that they've got a bye week this week, then they come back and play Texas.
Yeah. So bye week, Kent State, Texas.
Yeah.
Poor Kent State. What a tough schedule for Kent State. My God. All they do is play top 10 teams.
Whipped on. What are they thinking over there at Kent State?
Right.
Like getting every fucking week, I'm looking it up, and somebody's going to put it to Kent State. Now Oklahoma's going to be pissed. They don't have their QB. They're going to go out there and run it for 100 times against Kent State. They're not going to be able to go to class next week. So I'm looking at this. Joel, I guess my question is, the fact that he's going to have a couple of weeks off now, it's a bone, it's not a tendon, which means it's faster healing. Does this bode well? Could you see him playing against Texas? Is that too quick?
I feel like he could. I do think that there's a possibility because that's the end of a third week, right? And so that gives you the opportunity to maybe play. But the way that I also think about this playoff stuff now is like, okay, let's just say he's not ready. He can't play against Texas. They lose that game, right? Maybe they can afford to drop that game, get him healthy for the next week, right? And then when they go on the road, I think to South Carolina the week after that, make sure he's healthy. And then at the end of the year, the playoff committee is like, well, man, when the Sooners lost that game, they didn't even have that starting quarterback.
We get context now, right? Like we can put it together to say he didn't play in that game. They were a different team. Right. Also, I mean, Hawkins played against Texas last year, so maybe there's some familiarity there for him starting in that rivalry game. So maybe that helps a little bit.
He got his ass beat in that game last year too.
I'll tell you guys,
the experience he got was bad.
We're looking at Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri.
Get him back
LSU.
For Ole Miss.
There is not a game in that situation where they're not going to need John Mateer. The games where they're not going to need John Mateer is the Kent State game. Other than this, obviously everyone knew about the schedule. There are no layups on this schedule for Oklahoma. They need their QB back.
It is fascinating, too. He finished that game in the fourth quarter, which is kudos to Mateer. He goes 9 for 9, leads a touchdown drive to win that game, and then they still decide to do surgery, which, I mean, Joel, you can speak to this a little bit more as a player, but I mean, is that something that if you get that done, I feel like you're like, hey, I'm all right. Like, let's just keep playing. Or, does someone else, the medical staff, say we need to do this now? Or is this like agent involvement? This feels like it goes up like 3 or 4 levels.
Yeah, I think that probably, I mean, that's a collaborative decision, right? It's like his representation and the team, they're like, look, man, there's no need in you playing. You're not going to look good if your throwing hand you've got a broken bone in your throwing hand, right? Like eventually there's going to be a toll taken on that hand. So it's like, all right, well, why don't we just regroup, get you healthy, get the surgery you need right now. And you got 2 weeks, right? Like we don't need you back in terms of Kent State. And, you never know. I mean, we don't know how fast a healer he is, or what kind of, elixir he'll have to take to get back out on the field. But maybe there's a chance they can get him back in time for the Texas game. I mean, I think there's an outside chance that we could see him in that game. But at a minimum, I think he'll be back the week after against South Carolina. So, yeah, I feel like that's you probably – I bet Mateer would love to play, but he also is smart enough to realize there's so much on the line. There's so much ahead of me that, like, why risk it?
Yeah, but also from a football perspective, you have to look at this. For that gauntlet that Oklahoma's going to have coming up, they don't just want Mateer to be playing. They want him to be playing at his best,
right?
Gelling with his offense, getting all the reps, the game reps that you would need to be operating on optimal level to make a playoff push. And now we know that at least that is going to be interrupted by this injury. The opportunity for him to just continue to grow in the offense, for them to continue to figure out, how they use him best, maybe take some of the toll off of him, and other players around him to grow and for him to build that chemistry with some of his other guys. All of that stuff is important, particularly when you have a schedule that's that tough.
Let's talk about my one big reaction. Indiana football. You mentioned John Mateer going out. Now we have a new Heisman favorite, according to FanDuel. Yep. Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback of the Indiana Hoosiers. So I say to you guys, Indiana is officially a football school. They have passed the baton. It is the time. Curt Cignetti looks like a Bobby Knight disciple that's coaching football for this team.
You gonna choke somebody?
Yeah.
Gonna choke.
I mean,
remember when Bobby choked? I was in college when Bobby choked.
Neil Reed, man.
I was in college and it was like Bobby choked someone and then it was a whole big deal. It was a bizarre time to watch Bobby Knight and the choking of somebody be on CNN. And then he was gone. They ain't been the same since.
Yeah.
Victor Oladipo for a couple years, and then after that, they ain't really been the same.
Tom Crean tried to get him there. Mike Davis, 2002, right? They go to the national championship game. But those have been blips, not bombs, as far as the program. And right now, they just hired Darian DeVries, so they're trying to reset the whole thing. But again, Indiana's a football school. Yeah. Here's why. I got some stats for you guys. Outscored opponents by 520 points since the start of last season. That's the best in the FBS. Points per game difference leader last 2 seasons, 30.6. The next closest team, Ohio State, 24.6, right? So 6 points difference from the second team as far as points per game differential. Highest graded team this season, according to PFF. I know a lot of people roll their eyes at PFF. I worked at PFF, and so I give them some love. 99.5.
I'm asking you for your
I didn't know you worked at PFF, man.
You worked at PFF. What'd you do for PFF?
Hey, man, I was an editor, and I wrote about college football. A lot of people don't know that, but 99.5.
I need to look up your resume, man.
Yeah, we talk about Joel. Tate, you're 31.
Yeah.
Like how on earth? Fuck all this. Wait a second.
He's cool with Mike Lombardi and shit.
Wait, what are you? This is not why I never understand. I gotta say something about this. A lot of times I will watch these movies and like Lethal Weapon, and you will watch the movie, and there's always one up and coming young whippersnapper white star with a black co-star. The black co-star is 50. The white guy is 32. And when you look at these different movies, like, oh, it's like, hey, blah, blah. Joel, you are, not Joel, Tate, you're the Martin Riggs of this show.
Okay.
Me and Joel, we too old for this shit.
Yeah, we Danny Glover.
Yeah, like you are the Martin Riggs of this show.
At least you didn't call me Mel Gibson of the show.
Yeah. Just be careful. Look at all of the different things that he's already. I work for PFF. I work for this guy. I got my own company. Look at you. Yeah, what are you doing? How? I didn't get to TMZ till I was 31.
I'm just trying to make some money, man. I'm just, trying to get some things through. And also college football. I love college football. But again, those three things right there, Indiana, football school. And then last thing, Mendoza, 14 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. This is the real stat that I like. 9.8 yards per attempt. I love yards per attempt when you talk about a quarterback.
Yards per attempt, yards per play. I love that.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah,
no interceptions.
It ain't even, what's funny to me too is that a lot of times at a school like Indiana that comes out of nowhere and people, they're good all of a sudden in their dominant program, people fixate on the offense. It's like, oh man, they schemed up some shit. They got an NFL quarterback. They can figure it out. The thing about Indiana that was sort of amazing is that they got after Illinois' ass on defense, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, they had Luke Altmaier and hell. They held them to 161 yards offense in that game. 9 first downs. So they have like a real team. They got like a real unit out there. Like, it's not like they're just outscoring people. They're also putting the wood to people on defense. Like, you said they're a football school. Are they? Oh, wait, was there a pause in there?
Yeah, Van is pausing with his eyes.
I don't know what to do. We go from the unit to the wood. Like, go ahead, bro. Just go ahead, Joe.
Man, they couldn't even make the movie The Wood anymore now, man, just because of shit like that. I see. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man. So I shout out Curt Cignetti, man. It's kind of like, what they say when, somebody's got like an attractive partner or whatever, and they're like, well, can they fight? Well, Indiana, can you fight? Because you're going to have to, Curt Cignetti, man. Like, if you have a good job this offseason, and it looks like probably the best job on the market will be, I don't know, Florida, possibly, I guess. I mean, I imagine that's going to be one of the first calls they make, and they're going to try to get him a whole lot of cash to go down there.
It's going to be hard, though, because the rest of the SEC coaches are still very busy talking up Billy Napier. They're defending him.
Brian Kelly did a great job of it.
Yeah. They need him to stay.
They don't want him to go nowhere. Let me tell you guys something right now. The national media needs to get off Billy's back. He's got those young men down there in class 5 days a week. Can you do that?
Guy.
Can you make people go to class? Yeah. Okay? We love Billy Napier. They talk him up. They don't want to see Curt Cignetti down there. Something about Indiana, 2 things. One, what Joel said was an outstanding observation. If you watch that game, we weren't aerating it out and catching somebody on an off night. We lined up both in the trenches on both offense and defense. We threw it, we ran it, we played defense and complementary football. It's a real football team that plays with passion, understanding, and a lot of expertise, precision. Very impressed with what I saw them do. Secondly, this is also a sneaky big answer for the Big Ten. We talked about it earlier in the season. For the Big Ten to really be a conference that is going to snatch the mantle from the SEC, it couldn't just be Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State, the teams that we know are going to be good. There was going to have to be another team in the Big Ten, Wisconsin is wherever they are, that was going to step up and say that we have the opportunity to be elite too. Whether or not that was going to be Illinois or Indiana, obviously Indiana had a great season last year. Them not being a one-year wonder and being able to do something that's recreatable and maybe threaten those other 3 teams for Big Ten supremacy is a huge deal for the conference itself.
And remember last year, right? It was nobody believes in Indiana. They had that hot start. Nebraska comes there. They blow out Nebraska. Then the reaction was, okay, well, Nebraska's not very good. Then they played Michigan. They beat the shit out of Michigan. And everyone's like, well, Michigan, not very good. The 2 teams that they lost to played the national championship game, Notre Dame and Ohio State. So, like, even the conversation around them the entire year was pretty disrespectful. So I feel like this year we should do them the favor of just saying, hey, this is a really good football team.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is about it, too, is that you got to imagine if, again, Wisconsin, another school that may have an opening at some point this year, Minnesota, Michigan State, they're looking at Indiana and they're like, how did they leap us in the standings? Like, I don't, like this is not supposed to happen. I mean, Indiana has been consistently one of the worst power conference schools in the country. And so it'd be reasonable for all those other schools to look at that and be like, why can't we do this? Like, what, it'll have them looking at their coaches and being like, hey man, Kirk can do it. Why can't you do it from here?
Yeah, talking coaches, let's do one big question because this was big news. He is a man, he is 58, and he is no longer the head coach of Oklahoma State. And the question is simple. Will Mike Gundy, the winningest coach in Oklahoma State history, ever coach college football again? Van, I turn to you. Do you think Mike Gundy is done? Is this the end of all the quotes that we've heard over the years? Will we ever see him coach again?
He'll be back. He'll get a bridge job. He'll be back at a smaller school, a school
maybe
that
Tulsa
wants to make a splash. Maybe Tulsa,
when they lose their coach.
That wants to make a splash by hiring a coach that has tremendous name recognition, and despite the way that it's ended these last couple of years, has been incredibly successful at the spot that he's been at. He will get another job. The question is whether or not he'll get another big job. Oklahoma State is an interesting place to coach because for a certain degree of coach, it's your last job, but for a different degree of coach, it's a job that you use to get to your next one.
Les Miles. Yeah.
Oklahoma State, then to LSU. Mike Gundy, I feel like would have stayed there forever, right?
Played there. He was an assistant there.
The entire deal. The question for him now is, does he want to get back to a point where he can shove it in their face a little bit and get to a Power 4 school and really elevate that school to a national championship level and show the Oklahoma State alumni and the entire fan base that they made a mistake kicking him while he was down?
He was offered the opportunity, Joel, to retire or at least to make the announcement that he was going to retire at the end of the season and coach out the rest of the season. He told them, F that. I'm off that. I'm not doing that. And then obviously the news comes out. And he also compared the NIL era before he was fired to being in an argument with a spouse. He said, quote, whether I agree with it or not, it makes zero difference. Does that sort of attitude maybe make people stay away from him because he's obviously not embraced the NIL era?
Well, yeah. I mean, so I never want to say never, but just imagine if you're a fan of a G5 school, like let's say you're, a fan of Kent State, or you're a fan of, South Alabama or something like that.
Shout out to the Jaguars. Gio Lopez.
The Jags. That's right. That's what I'm saying. And they say, we're going to bring in Mike Gundy. Well, would you be excited about that? I mean, because like you had the resources. You had a school that, I mean, for all intents and purposes, will put a statue up at some point for you, right? Like he's the greatest coach in Oklahoma State history. Like they reached all these heights, and then they were like, I think we're past this now. So if like Oklahoma State, he doesn't mean more to anybody than he means to Oklahoma State. And Oklahoma State thought, you know what? Probably time that we got to get on past you. Well, I mean, what are you going to do at a school that has fewer resources? You got to compete against guys that are getting their kids poached all the time. It's going to require a whole nother level of energy and enthusiasm. And I just kind of wonder if he can muster that again. So I don't know. Like maybe if North Texas loses Eric Morris, or Memphis moves on from Ryan Silverfield, or Jeff Traylor ever leaves UTSA, maybe they bring in Mike Gundy, but my thought is, why would you? I mean,
that's a good hire for somebody.
A good hire at this point?
It's a good hire for someone.
Woo.
It is. I mean, a guy that's won that much at a school that is looking to
16 winning seasons, 2 losing seasons, the first one and the last one, right?
For the same reason why Frank Zolich is a good hire at Ohio back in the day after his Nebraska run. Like he's a good hire for somebody, for sure.
Let me tell you. So I'm going to, and this is personal experience. Gary Patterson would have been a great hire for somebody. But he ain't never been nobody's head coach again, right? Gary Patterson is the greatest coach in TCU history. Gary Patterson has created a whole generation of FCS to FBS schools and small FBS schools that have increased their ambition, because what happened again at TCU should not be possible. We were a nothing program, and he turned us into a nationally recognizable brand, right? And he didn't do terrible. Like it ain't like he finished 2-10, but he's been out of work now for about 3-4 years. Who's going to hire him? I was thinking about Ralph Friedgen. Ralph Friedgen did great at Maryland, a school that Van doesn't like to talk about.
Yeah, you love Maryland football.
Yeah, I love Maryland football. Big Terps fan. Big Terps fan. Like Indiana football is more exciting.
National tell. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's a completely different thing.
Just saying. Well, I'm just saying. But Ralph Friedgen ain't never been no head coach again. You know what I'm saying? I just like, it's just, you think.
But Joe, some of that has to do with what types of jobs those coaches would want.
Right.
I mean, if you're either guy and you want to go coach at Washington, if you want to coach at Wazoo, you want the SC job, you want to be in the realm in the net when you're naming hat at Florida, like you might not be able to get one of those jobs. The question is not whether or not you can get back to the perch you were on. The question is, are you a good hire for anyone? And if you are at a directional school that is looking to get rid of their coach and rebuild their program, you have to think a Power 4 winning coach is a good hire for one of those schools. We've seen it before, is all I'm saying.
Les Miles was a good hire at Kansas.
I mean, I'm not saying it worked out good. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that was a good hire for them. Like that was a good hire for them. You would think that if Kansas wants to revamp its football program, there are worse things that they could do than go get a national championship winning coach that coached on the highest level of football in the SEC and see if whatever they did at LSU could work at Kansas.
My thought again, if you did less with more, I'm not really going to expect you to do more with less.
I mean, yeah, look.
Nice little pun there with Les Miles, too.
Les Miles, shout out to him. I had a shirt one time that said, lose less, win more. I'm not saying that these are situations where these coaches are going to be, like, super successful. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that, like, Will Muschamp is coaching where? At UNLV, right?
Mm-hmm. Or no, Dan Mullen, UNLV.
Dan Mullen, excuse me. Will Muschamp, Dan Mullen, they're all the same. Dan Mullen is coaching at
Billy
UNLV.
Napier, welcome to the family soon.
Exactly. Dan Mullen is coaching at UNLV. You got to think that's a good hire for UNLV, right? It's a good hire. UNLV, they go get Dan Mullen. It's a good place for Dan Mullen to remind people that he knows how to call offense.
Right.
And so that's all I'm saying. I get your point is well taken. I'm just saying for somebody to go get Mike Gundy if he wants to coach, and if there's a fire lit under his ass, this might be a wake-up call that he needs. They're going to kick the tires on him and see what's up, I think.
We got 3 openings right now, 3 big Power 4 openings that I wanted to get start, bench, cut for these programs, because it is kind of fascinating to see like what is the temperature on these programs and those jobs right now. We got UCLA, of course. We got Virginia Tech. We got Oklahoma State. So I go to you first, Fan. Start, bench, cut those 3 jobs.
Start UCLA.
Wow.
Yeah. Start UCLA.
Yeah. You love LA. That's
bench Virginia Tech. Cut Oklahoma State.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean,
there's been some commentary that UCLA, like I think Saban said this. No serious coach would take that job right now.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, but the reality is, all things included, you're living in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. It does help.
So to me, you're living in Los Angeles. You're out there. You ever see the way these coaches out here live? Has anyone ever been to Palos Verdes?
So
in
nice.
Los Angeles.
I've not been to, but Manhattan Beach is my shit though. That's my
Manhattan Beach, Palos Verdes. These coaches that come out here to coach these teams, Lincoln Riley. You don't see Lincoln Riley at the fucking movie theater. That's not where they live. They live in the nicest parts of this city.
Yeah.
And they go to work at UCLA or USC.
And Westwood's nice. Yeah.
Westwood's fantastic. If you can make it work, great. But
how do they get to work?
Huh?
How do they get to work from them areas? Do they
the underground tunnels, right, Van?
It could be the underground railroad. Harriet Tubman. But it could also. I mean, they have to take the 405. But what I'm saying is, all things considered, none of these teams are winning a national championship in the next 3 years. UCLA, though, that's a place that at least the lifestyle of a head coach is better than it is other 2 places.
And you get Jordan Brand. You get free Jordans the whole time while you're coaching. That's a nice little perk. Joel, start, bench, cut those 3 teams.
So I'm going to start Virginia Tech because
word up.
This is for the short term. So because look, they're trying to raise money. They're talking about, okay, man, we need to get serious about the money out here and finding the money to fuel this program. They're close to the Tidewater and the Hampton Roads area, so they can tap into that talent.
They got players, right?
They can get that. They've got a rich tradition. It's still Lane Stadium. I've never been, but I've only heard great things about the home environment.
It's incredible. They do the hokey pokey. A key play. Everyone gets their keys out and does keep, and they shake their keys. It's loud. It's loud. Yeah, tough place.
Yeah, man. You can. I mean, I feel like you can do some things, and it's not like the ACC is so difficult that you can. That you have to that you think you got to wait forever. Like even Miami and Florida State are inclined to have a down year or do something dumb and, go 8-4, right? So I feel like you've got a potential there. At UCLA, again, I'm like Van. I love LA. If somebody would float us the money, I would pick this shit up right now and move to LA right now. Like I love LA, but it's expensive. They've got fewer resources than almost everybody they're competing against, right? Like that's what Nick Saban's talking about when he said no serious coach. You're never gonna be competing on the same level with the Ohio States, the Michigans, the Oregons, any of that stuff. Like you're always gonna have that problem trying to get over that. I mean, UCLA was so difficult that Chip Kelly was like, you know what, bro? I don't mind being an offensive coordinator again in the same conference. Like that. He was just like, I don't want to do this. Now I love LA. I love Westwood. They can always get talent, but I'm a bench them, and you got to cut Oklahoma State. Have any of y'all been to Stillwater, Oklahoma before?
I haven't.
I've been to Anadarko.
Man, I remember you mentioned the Anadarko. Man, look, man, I'm not even trying to cap because I love Oklahoma. That was a fun place. I lived there for a year. It was fun, but isolated, rural. You're not really close to any talent. Like Oklahoma's closer to the talent bases. Nobody in Oklahoma that grows up there is trying to play at Oklahoma State. You don't have access to that T-Boone's Pickett money anymore. I mean, I don't know, man.
True. Yet he had them more successful than any other team on this list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's what's fascinating.
Within 1 yard of the playoff a couple of years ago, he had them more successful than any other team on this list. Obviously, Virginia Tech has a rich football history. We all know that they've Beamer ball and all of that stuff, but it's a place you can win. Virginia Tech is a place that you can win. UCLA has had good teams. When I think about it, bro, I think about the beach.
Yeah, you're thinking Blacksburg versus Stillwater versus Palos Verdes.
That's anti-building a good, building a good work ethic and being in the office. LA would have me wanting to be golfing.
Playing golf.
Man, we got the iPick. You ever been to the iPick? You go there, you sit down, you recline. They bring you up. They bring the chicken fingers right out there to the thing. You're like, thank you very much. It's a good place. I don't know. They don't have that in Stillwater. I don't think, bro.
No, man.
You gotta look at LA, man.
I like the lifestyle kind of angle for this. Yeah, I mean, because I think Virginia Tech, Oklahoma State, and then UCLA would be the cut is the right answer. But LA, the draw of LA. Like if you're Dan Mullen, you're maybe kicking yourself. You're like, if I just waited another year, I could have gone to UCLA. If you're Ed Orgeron, maybe that's a name they call up, and they're just like, Ed knows how to get talent.
It would have a lot of fun.
Nah, we can't have that.
You have a lot of fun.
It was out here with SC.
Yeah.
It was out here with SC.
Yeah.
We can't.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Not now, but him out here with SC was different than what it would be now. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be 15 years. It's gonna be 5 or 6 D tackles in the LA area. like we can't.
If Coach O had the old rules, I think it would be a great hire for UCLA. Like if NIL did not exist, I think Coach O would be perfect because
I think Dan Mullen's a great hire for UCLA. Really.
Yeah,
man, if I was Dan Mullen,
I really do. He's gonna have to work his way back into a high Power 5 job, high Power 4 job. So look, it's from Vegas. I think it's a good job for him. I think it's a good hire for them too.
I would stay at UNLV and I would wait till something else better opened up. You never know if I would even probably take Arizona over UCLA. I don't,
I will say about Mullen though. Remember, this is a guy who made his bones as a head coach at Mississippi State.
Right.
That's in the SEC and all of that. So this is a guy who's been to places. This is not to diss the people down there in Starkville. We always get a good game there, and they've had some teams. But this is a guy who's used to going to one of these programs that is a major program, but maybe doesn't have a major tradition and getting it done.
I feel like the answer for UCLA is going to be someone that's very much like a Brian Harsin from, former Auburn coach who's the OC for California. I feel like that's like a name that's going to end up getting that job just because of the fact that there's so many limitations with the money that's involved.
A Brian Harsin, but like in a successful one, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like one who was good.
He put up 0 points against San Diego State. Our guy, JKS, got absolutely shut out in that game. That was crazy.
That was crazy.
Point.
I'll tell you what, Oklahoma State, last thing, Oklahoma State, y'all going to find out what that job was like. Now, I mean, again, it was right to move on from Mike Gundy. That is a hard job, and they're going to find out now. These were the glory days.
And I love coaching characters, so I just want to say losing Mike Gundy is bad for the game. We need Mike Gundy to figure out a place to go because we need the quotes. The quotes are great. Let's get to the overreaction of the week. This was fascinating. There were a lot of quotes coming out after this. One of the quotes was my favorite, and it was from Arch Manning. He said, quote, "My mom was pretty mad about that." And what was she mad about? Arch Manning flexed on a former zero-star recruit, Sam Houston State slimebacker, as Joel figured out he likes to be called a slimebacker, Antavius Fish. Is this Van? I'll go to you first here. Overreaction by Arch Manning, proper reaction. Your thoughts?
Man, I don't want people to think that I'm calling this young man this, but I gotta say it. That was a bitch move.
Damn.
You ain't earned that yet, man.
Damn.
You ain't earned that flex, Arch, man.
Wow, bitch.
Once again, Arch is a young man who's still finding his way.
Bitch,
he is. I don't mean to be overly critical of these kids, even though they got Warby Parker. I don't mean to do that.
Red Bull. There you go. That's how somebody mentioned it.
But what I'm saying is, you ain't like that yet. You ain't been there yet. That's not what we doing. Score, get a goddamn ball to the referee, get back to the huddle, and hope that you can do it again on a team that presents the same type of opposition that your team is imbued with in terms of talent. You know, I'm not saying that this young man right here, the slimebacker, Antavius Fish, I'm not saying that he's a charity case. He's out there on the field and you guys are competing. You competed against who's ever in front of you. But I looked at that, and that to me was more troubling than anything that Arch has demonstrated from his inability to grasp scheme or make plays. I don't want to see that from somebody. I don't want to see him smelling himself, pumping himself up, and peacocking on people. He has not earned that right yet. That was a bitch move to me.
Damn. And a lot of people were saying Sarkisian, right, was the one that told him to sort of show some emotion, and that was sort of the impetus for why he was acting this way. So you're agreeing with the mom. The mom was correct that she did not like seeing that. Joel, did you think this was an overreaction by Arch?
I mean, I wouldn't go so far as to call it a bitch move, but I was like, come on, chill out. But so there's a couple things that I thought about. I was like, man, that kid has had a really tough couple of weeks. Everybody talking about how bad he is and how terrible he is and how much of a bust he is and how he didn't deserve any of that hype. And as much as you try to avoid that stuff, it still seeps through. Like, he still probably heard all of that. He had not had the season that he thought he was going to have. So he had one moment where it just probably felt cathartic. And also, so I did look up my boy, the Slimebacker, man. I looked at his Instagram account, and I don't know if he, is trying to get attention to it or not. It's at Tate Solid for real. Tate Solid for real. At Tate Solid FR. And he showed a play earlier in the game where he tackles Arch Manning. Like Arch Manning is running around the left end. He makes a tackle, and Antavius Fish makes a great stop, like hits him. But the part that I noticed is that when he got up, he kind of stepped over Arch and kind of talked some shit to him.
Little AI Ty Lue moment.
Yeah. I was just wondering. I was like, oh, Arch was like, got you back, bitch. You know what I'm saying? It was something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
this is in the context of a get back. Yeah. And I understand it a little bit more.
In the context of a get back, then I could get it. Right?
Okay, yeah. And my heart is with the Antavius Fishes of the world. This brother went to Coffeyville and Akron. He is Sam Houston State. I feel like I'm an Antavius Fish. I'm a slime. I would love to be a slimebacker.
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. It doesn't seem like it.
Ben saying you're not backing Fish on this. You're giving excuses as to why Arch.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, he's the one that showed it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's the one that showed it. So he said, if I remember correctly, hey, ESPN, make sure you show this. Because I'm sure he was tired of looking up there and people thinking, oh man, I feel sorry for that kid for Sam Houston State, this charity case. He probably was like,
I'll be honest with you.
I'm Tate Solid for real.
I'll be honest with you. It kind of seemed like some Jason Whitlock shit. I'm not gonna be. It's like you just went. We were talking about Arch, and then you went and you put on Antavius Fish.
I didn't got called type of life that he's had enough this week. Okay, we're gonna talk about it.
Hold on for a second. Wait.
We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it later. But that's enough. I've had enough.
It's time to answer the bell.
It's enough.
Joel was going to war in the comments on the Instagram. Joel, you can't give it up like that, bro.
I know,
You got to let her have their
Joel said he's not playing anymore.
I was responding to people and everything, man. I was like, man, your son, you talk to people like this on the internet, man?
Yeah, get him with the slime back. That's what we like to see.
We're
gonna get my get back, man.
Gotta get your get back. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk biggest games of week 5, some of our favorite other matchups, and of course, we're going to play a new game, Complimentary Football, where we talk about the playmaker himself. We'll be right back after the break. Ring Your Tailgate is brought to you by FanDuel. It's one of the biggest weeks in sports, and FanDuel is turning it into a full-on celebration. Introducing FanDuel Boost Fest, where every day from September 25th to 28th brings you a 50% profit boost on the biggest matchups in football, baseball, golf, and more. And this weekend, I love the Ryder Cup, and I'm locked in on the Ryder Cup. I'm going to take Scotty Scheffler most points. I believe he's going to turn this thing around. And again, however you play, that 50% profit boost is ready to go every single day during Boost Fest. Download the FanDuel app or head to fanduel.com/tailgate to jump into Boost Fest, where the games are big and the boosts are bigger. Must be 21 or older and present in select states, or 18 and older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. All right, we're back. Ring Your Tailgate. Week 5, we promised a cool and a big and a positive slate of college football games. Last week was a little dull, right? Not the most exciting week. Clemson's downfall was probably the biggest thing that really came out of that. Indiana, the coronation of this group that they have. But again, this week is going to be huge, big, massive, whatever adjective you have in your bag, throw it out there right now. Here are the 4 big games. Number 6, Oregon at number 3, Penn State. Number 17, Alabama at number 5, Georgia. Number 4, LSU at number 13, Ole Miss. Number 21, USC at number 23, Illinois. Joel, I'll go to you first. Those 4 games, which one really sticks out to you?
Man, I mean, it's kind of crazy, but I guess obviously the Oregon versus Penn State thing. Also, by the way, ABC, Sinclair, y'all better get y'all shit together, man.
Oh, yeah, right. A lot of drama here.
By Saturday, man. Y'all ain't get y'all shit together. Well, I don't know what y'all got to do. Y'all got to figure it out.
You couldn't watch Jimmy Kimmel last night,
I couldn't watch Jimmy Kimmel last night. I got to watch that for the press box, and I couldn't. Anyway, Oregon versus Penn State, man. Like, this is going to be a whiteout night game. I mean, what an environment. Should be one of the biggest games of the year. Nobody's really been tested, so we're going to find out a lot about both of these teams. And I mean, I think the thing for this one, if you're a Penn State fan, this is sort of a test for James Franklin and Drew Allen.
Sort of.
This is
they
the
need
legacy
to win
game.
this motherfucking game.
I think this is the James Franklin legacy game.
They need to win this fucking football game. For sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
4-20 versus the top 10 in his career, James Franklin. 4-20.
You can't fuck around, man. I mean, in Oregon, man, they look like killers, bro. And that is not a team that I would want to play. If, for people, my reputation as a big game coach to be on the line, right? But, I mean, Penn State has not looked good this year. And that's the thing, too. Like, they're not, like, they haven't even played a tough schedule. But Drew Aller is, like, 101st in quarterback rating, according to PFF. Like, I don't know, man. They look a little shaky. So I hope, for James Franklin and Drew Aller's sake, they need to get it together because Oregon is, I mean, they're looking like a buzzsaw, bro. And so, like, I really want to see that. Just the atmosphere, the pageantry, all that kind of stuff. Like the whiteout at Penn State, but for the name. I mean, it's the kind of thing that, like, when you're thinking of college football and you're like, man, this is a game I want to see during the year. That's the kind of scene you want to see. So I'm really excited about that game.
Yeah. I went to a whiteout one time. It was in Dim Springs, Louisiana.
Is that where the Cracker Barrel is?
Everything was white. It's white everywhere. White everywhere. He's like, you know where you at? And I was like, yeah. I know where I'm going, away from here.
St. George?
St. George. You know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right.
Before I get to my game, quickly on Oregon versus Penn State. Oregon does look like a buzzsaw, and they've handled business. It is a game, theoretically, that should be an opportunity for Penn State to demonstrate how good they are. The Oregon team is chocked full of talent, and they have played really well. But they are not battle-tested in terms of games like this. When you look at Moore, that's a brand new player. When you look at, both Moores, right?
Yeah, right.
And so those are Decory and Dante. Those are brand new players. We have not seen them as of yet in games like this. Theoretically, Drew Aller and Penn State have players that have been through this and to this. And in this situation, that experience should be something that they should be able to lean on in this game and be able to expose some of the questions that we might still have about Oregon. Maybe they match up well with Oregon on the outside. The Oregon wide receiver room is still something that we're asking about. We've seen the freshmen has played fantastic. But this is a game that Penn State should be looking at as an opportunity to announce themselves as a real national championship contender. And if Oregon wins this fucking game, if Oregon comes out and beats them in their place, it is Oregon who is saying, anybody who thought we were going to have a down year, anybody who thought we hadn't figured ourselves out, we don't have an identity, is wrong. This is a big game. Penn State needs to win this game. James Franklin needs to win this game.
Yeah, Dan Lanning wins these games, and everybody kind of knows that. That's kind of his reputation. For James Franklin, it's quite the opposite, right? So, I mean, this is a legacy game at some level for Penn State. If you're Penn State fans, right, you're just hoping that the SMU game is sort of the blueprint of what this game maybe looks like. The crowd's involved. It's a whiteout. Maybe Dante Moore gets a little bit overwhelmed in that environment. Calls aren't coming in as quickly. Oregon's playing a little bit slower than they, have shown so far this season, and the game plays at your pace, and you're able to handle business. But again, this is going to be a major matchup. I do want to talk about Alabama, Georgia, too. There's just a lot of connective tissue between these two programs at this point. Georgia kind of taking the baton from Alabama as the cream of the crop as far as SEC football potentially. This defense, though, does not look like a defense we've seen in the past as far as Georgia so far this season. Ty Simpson has looked good, but again, it was against Wisconsin, who fired their head coach. So obviously they were not a good football team. Joel, this game, Georgia, Alabama, who has kind of the impetus to make a statement in this game?
Well, I mean, Alabama really needs to win this game because I mean, they can't really afford another loss, right? I mean, if they're trying to get to the playoffs, and that is the standard that Alabama fans judge this team on. Like, are you a playoff contender? Are you a national title contender? And if they can't pull it off, I mean, if they lose this game, it's easy to see that they might not be able to make it in. So, the good thing about it, they're going to get Jam Miller back, right? Like, so they're going to have their starting running back. He should be playing. Tim Keenan, the defensive tackle, he's coming back. He should be able to play for this game. So they're getting healthy. Ty Simpson looks a lot better than he did, in that game against Florida State. And I talked about this when it happened. I was like, man, can you just imagine what it was like trying to piece together the Florida State offense first week of the season? You hadn't seen all this together on film. So I could understand how they might have just been overwhelmed and just like, I don't know what the hell is going on here, right? And like maybe they've had a chance to settle in and we'll get a chance to see a little bit more of what Alabama actually is. And the one thing I would say that is in their favor is that Georgia, man, they've turned out a lot of great defensive linemen over the years, so it was inevitable that they would have some drop off, and they still got some NFL prospects there, but like, they can't generate any pass rush. And that's why Joey Aguilar was able to piece their ass up, right? And so Ty Simpson, Ryan Williams, Bernard.
Jeremy Bernard.
Jeremy Bernard.
I mean, man, they may be able to pick them apart. So, it'll be interesting to see if Georgia can figure out a way to get some pressure without having to blitz, because they only have 3 sacks this season, none by a defensive lineman. And that's a
very telling stat.
Yeah, that's a very
Georgia
telling
team.
stat. Yeah.
The question for me in this game is not what if Georgia wins, it's what if Alabama loses. Alabama needs victories, and they've had success against Georgia. Like, Alabama needs victories in this Kalen DeBoer era to culturally convince its fan base. Like, these people need to believe. They need to know that things are going right down there. And they have started to believe again after the last couple of showings of the Crimson Tide. They've seen Ty Simpson be able to go out there and put up big numbers, look like he's in command of the offense. They've seen, more importantly, the team play with the emotion, the snap, the discipline, and the passion that they didn't see against Florida State. The Alabama fan base has let themselves believe in their team again. That belief is going to go by the wayside if they lose on Saturday. if they lose on Saturday, and that might not be fair to Kalen DeBoer, it might not be fair to Todd Simpson, it might not be fair to the entire Alabama staff, to the team. It might not be fair. That's a tough game to win. On the road at Georgia, it's a tough game. But the internal belief, we know that we the badasses, that doesn't exist in Tuscaloosa right now. And in order for it to exist in any type of incarnation like it did before, they're going to have to go down there and prove on a national stage that they can go toe-to-toe with Georgia and beat them, particularly after what happened at Florida State.
And if they don't, like you said, they're going to be talking about, hey, is Dabo available? Like, what is the next move for Alabama football? Like, it moves quick. And
let me ask you a question. What if they lose in a close and competitive game? Do you think that the fan base will be even killed enough to say, hey, we didn't go out there and get down? You don't think so?
They'll never be reasonable. Like, they're not. That is an unreasonable ass fan base.
They got too much Bama in them. Yeah.
But that's why Bama is great, because they have crazy expectations, and if you don't meet them, then they're gonna run your ass up out of there, right? Like, you got to figure it out. But no way. I mean, because the thing, you're right, Van. You could look at that schedule and you'd be like, well, Alabama's 2 losses have been, losses against 2 top 10 teams, maybe, at some point 2 top 5 teams. And that's not necessarily a bad resume right there. But Alabama is like, but wait, we're the top 5 team that people are supposed to lose to. They're not them. So, like, yeah, there's no way in hell they'll be reasonable, man. Again, I'm sure Kalen DeBoer is thinking all the time, man, Seattle was nice, bro. That was a really nice place.
You know what's crazy, though? Like, Washington looks good this year. They're undefeated. They got 0 votes in the AP poll. Yeah. 0 votes.
People don't see that. People don't watch them. They don't think about them until they play somebody else, right?
I know, and they might beat Ohio State this weekend, and then all of a sudden they're going to get votes in the top 10. I mean, that's just how quickly. So I think for him, maybe that's the argument in his mind that he could fight back. The devil in his ear is like, well, we wouldn't be getting any attention at Washington if we were there. Big Van on campus, because we're going to talk about this game anyway. Let's just go there, Van. LSU, Ole Miss. Speaking of connective tissue, there is a lot happening with this game. We got a lot to get to. Whit Weeks, Lane Kiffin's daughter, Landry Kiffin, if you don't know her, she's big on IG, and she just announced she's dating a guy who dominated defensively in this game last year. I turn it over to you, Big Van on campus this week.
Wow. I have a couple of things to say here. Number one, timing. We get a hard launch of a Paul Skeens, Livy Dunn-esque couple during the Magnolia Bowl week. What is she trying to say? What are they trying to say? Are these 2 kids, these 2 crazy vanilla kids, are they trying to tell us that no rivalry can rip them apart? That it doesn't matter what happens on Saturday, that on Sunday they're still going to be popping popcorn and watching movies, Netflix and chill, whatever the hell the kids do? What are they trying to say? What was the purpose of putting this out this week? To let us know? Well, now we know. And I got to tell you something, Whit. You got to go out there and you got to perform. You got to perform now. It's not a game between LSU and Ole Miss anymore. It's a game between Whit Weeks and his father-in-law. Not father-in-law. Father-in-law is what my daddy used to say. It's Whit Weeks versus father-in-law.
His father-in-law, yeah.
There's a scene in The Amazing Spider-Man, the movie, the one with Andrew Garfield, right? And he's at the dinner table, and he's going back and forth with Dennis Leary in front of the mom and Gwen Stacy. Dennis Leary will say something about Spider-Man. Spider-Man will come back and be like, well, Spider-Man's good. And you watching them. You know what they're doing? They're dropping their nuts on each other. They're dropping their nuts on each other because they know that when it's a situation when 2 goddamn Titans are in the same room in front of the women, that there can only be one person that stands up short. There's a big bro and there is a little bro. And if you are going to be with the coach's daughter, then you got to show him that he can't big bro you. You got to play sideline to sideline, north, south, tackle, hit, destroy. Because if you don't, then you are Lane Kiffin's son-in-law. You ain't Cracker Badger no more. You ain't Whit Weeks. You ain't none of that. If you don't go win now, then you're going to be taking the trash out at the Kiffin residence for the foreseeable future.
He should do that anyway.
He should not. You're going to be at the Kiffin residence, going out back to get a bag of ice, bring it in, put the sodas in it. Whit, can you come in here and carry this TV out? If you win the game, then you know what you can do? You can say, you know what? Only losers go get the trash. Only losers go get the ice.
You think he's going to be sunning Lane Kiffin at his house?
Get your ass out there and you go get it. Because I had 3 sacks on your team. You couldn't scheme me
Forced
out
a fumble last year. Had a great game last year.
I'm telling you right now, this is what you don't want. I've seen this before. My daddy, rest in peace, was the man at this. My daddy was the man at walking into a room and making lesser men understand that they were peons.
Damn.
And he would do this to my sister's boyfriends before she realized that she didn't actually want boyfriends. She wanted girlfriends. Different story. Now, so what I would say is...
Maybe that was the message.
He'd go in there, he'd be like, hey, it will always be some guy named Devon or Carlos or something like that. Hey, I want you to get out there. We got some horse feed in the back. Go get the horse feed. Put it in that van, you chill. Go get the horse feed. You're in my house. That is not what you want, Whit. Whit, you got to win. Now you got to win the game. Now we got to win. Now we got to win the game, Whit. Go ahead. Have fun. That's some elite milk. I give you credit. But like have fun. But now we got to win the game, Whit. We got to win.
She does look like her mama. You know what I'm saying? I'll give him. I'll give her that.
Playing. Lane not playing.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
Yeah.
Because I'm old.
Yeah, we old men.
We old men.
Well,
respectfully, Lane not playing though. Lane never played.
I would pay $100 to hear how they met. $100. Like, what do you think? Like, do you think Whit sent a DM or like did she like? Where did they like? And where did they decide to meet at? You know what I mean? Like, was it the first time?
It's definitely in the DMs. It's probably like after you. You know why? You know why he had the gumption to surf into the DMs, to slide into the DMs? Because he won the game.
He balled out last
year. Yeah, he was probably like, what'd you think of that? Tiger emoji, tiger emoji.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. Fire emoji.
Yeah.
And she liked it. She wouldn't have responded if they lost. So you got to win again.
I bet the IG would tell her I'm not gonna follow her, but I bet if you went through, you probably see like some Whit Weeks, slowly but surely in the comments building up, little fire emoji, something like that, and then it just kind of built up, and finally right after that game, he's like, man, what's up, man? What y'all doing after this? Y'all want to go to Jubin's?
I have to ask a follow up here because I think this is a very important point. Who's using who here? I think is really the thing for me because I wouldn't put it past Lane to watch Whit Weeks dominate my offense last year and go to Landry and say, hey, can we get this guy's attention away from this game maybe?
Are you fucking Tate? That's what the fuck I'm talking about. Are you saying that Lane game planned his daughter?
That she's not
God, Tate.
Wow. Wow.
Tate, are you saying that this is elite scheming from Lane?
Yes.
Are you telling me that Lane game planned his daughter? That's crazy.
I'm saying the guy had a great game last year. That she hard launches it though. She did this. Whit Weeks didn't put this out being like me and you know what I mean? Like this was not his determined destiny. This was her putting it out there. And I'm just saying, if I'm Whit Weeks, I'm a little bit worried that the Kiffin family is in on this and they put the pressure back on me.
I'll say if I'm Whit Weeks, you can't do that to me. I'm still Whit Weeks. The thing about Whit Weeks is I'm Whit Weeks at LSU. I'm Whit Weeks at Ole Miss. I'm Whit Weeks if I go across the street to Southern. You know what I mean? But
are you Whit Weeks in Lane's house after he beats you? You know what I mean?
Nah.
If Lane disrespects me, it's just like I'm Whit Weeks. I'm Whit Weeks though. I'm going back to campus, man. I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna be straight.
You're the boyfriend now.
You got to win. I tell y'all a story real quick, and this is what I don't want to happen to Whit. What happened to me? I was seeing a girl from Detroit. I never forget, it was January.
What up, though? Shout out.
I was January. I went up to Detroit to see her. All right.
Damn, January in Detroit. Whew. Cold in the D.
It was the year before the Super Bowl was in Detroit. So they were gearing up to have the Super Bowl in Detroit. They were like, doing, hey, this was gonna be like next year, and we all this ice and snow, and wow. So it was 7 degrees, and her dad asked me to take the trash out. And he goes, yo, man, you take the trash out real quick? And I'm like, yeah,
it's a great dad move.
No problem. I'll take the trash out. Because once again, I'm acquiescing. I don't have the knowledge I have now. I'm like, I'm going to take the trash out. And, I'm from the country. So if you tell me to just run and take the trash out, I'm a barefooted with nothing, just run and take the trash out. I'm not going to put shoes on just to walk down the driveway.
Oh, dog. Oh, no.
And so I'm tying up the trash, and he goes, actually the mom went, Van, are you going to put a jacket on, some shoes on? I'm like, nah, I'll run back out, run out there, run back out, back in, it'll be fine. The whole thing will take 30 seconds, not that big of a deal. I go out, they lock the door. I come back, I'm like, boom, 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 boom. They're laughing the laugh of people from the North that think that a big Southern dude being cold is funny.
Dog.
And I'm out there, like, legitimately getting icicles. I'm like, this is not funny. That's what I don't want for Wick Weeks. Because, see, if I had dominated him in some kind of way, we did get into an argument that night at dinner, and I went in. But if I had dominated him in some kind of way, that would have never happened. And I don't want that for Wick Weeks. Win the game.
The way you avoid it, you say, I'm gonna take the trash out. You know what I'm saying? Or do you want me to clean some dishes? You got to volunteer. So you seem like a nice.
I don't believe in none of that. I believe there can only be one king and one castle. like I don't believe in none of that no more. Now I'm gonna teach my sons, if you over at somebody's house and they give you a plate, that knock the fucking table over and say, clean it out.
Man,
like you the man.
Keep yourself away from my daughter.
This is a different game. Speaking of games, favorite other matchups on the board. Van, I go to you first. A lot of notable games this week. A lot of big games. But what's one game you're excited to watch?
Joe picked one that's fantastic. I will let him get to it. But Mississippi State is one. Mississippi State is lively, man. They're lively.
O-line looks great.
Good.
Yeah.
O-line looks great. They're lively. Tennessee is a team that is, I want to say, on the rise because they're sort of maintaining the trajectory of the Heupel era. Always have fantastic offense. They have a great quarterback. We've talked a lot about Tennessee, but they got to keep winning. Losing the Georgia game didn't hurt them a lot in terms of their perception in the national media. Losing this game would. Mm-hmm. Losing this game would start to make some people wonder if Tennessee is quite as good as what we thought they were. And at the same time, winning this game would make a lot of people wonder whether or not we're underrating Mississippi State a little bit. So it's not an unimportant game in the SEC, and it's one that I'll be watching outside of these big matchups that we already talked about.
I love it. That's going to be a fun one. Obviously, SEC showdowns. We love those. Joel, you got a Big Ten showdown that you're excited to watch, right?
Man, no, Ohio State at Washington, because, look, this is Ohio State's first road game. So that means Julian Sands' first road game. And while he's been really good, in retrospect, he's been about as good as you could hope a first-year starter would be. He's the most accurate QB in college football. He's been poised. I've seen some people, and I need to watch more, okay? But I've seen some people compare him sort of like Drew Brees from like the mechanics to the footwork and placement and everything. And so I'm excited to see what he's going to look like. And one thing about Washington, low-key, really good home field. They haven't lost a true home game since 2021. Have y'all ever been to beautiful Husky Stadium?
I have, not for a game.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
nice.
It's beautiful. It's gorgeous,
really
and it gets loud there, man. It can get kind of loud. It's not altogether that different from Autzen down there in Eugene. So,
no, I'll be honest with you. Autzen is a hellish. Autzen. I know that people down south, they haven't been up there. That's a hellish environment.
Yeah.
That's
people don't believe it.
That is a deafening roaring. I can't hear I got to get out of the stadium type noise. Autzen is crazy.
Yeah, people won't believe it, but yeah, man, it's live up there. And Husky, it ain't that, but it'll be a little bit more lively than people expect. And I could see Ohio State having some trouble up there, man. And Washington's got the most efficient offense in the nation. The quarterback, Damon Williams, I don't know if he can pass, but he can run.
He can run. He can run. So I watched him in the Apple Cup. I'm like, he's good. So
real quick with this. These games where these teams have to travel all the way from, basically the Midwest to the East Coast to the West Coast, all that. We've seen them have effects on these games, particularly early in the game. Is Ohio State on not upset alert, but jet lag alert in this game?
I would say so, man. I mean, first of all, Ohio State dropped one weird game a year anyway, right? You know, like they're good for that. And they're not as talented as they've been before. Washington's not bad. It's a good home field advantage. Like, I mean, yeah, man. And it's just, man, you go on the road, you learn a lot of things about yourself for the first time, man. Like you learn a lot about yourself and your teammates. You know, staying in a hotel, doing walkthrough in a hotel, a meeting room, you know, doing all that kind of stuff. It's just weird. And that's, like you said, it's a long way, man. I think they're going 3 time zones. So I doubt that Ryan Day is taking it for granted, but
the players might though. Like the players are going to see a team Washington that's not ranked. They're playing in a kind of a foreign environment. You know, it's a beautiful campus, beautiful stadium. There's boats in the water. You know what I mean? It's kind of similar to the San Francisco Giants Stadium. You know, it's great. It's beautiful. But guess what they got to deal with? Jonah Coleman. Who might put himself in the Heisman situation. Like if they play like they've been playing so far this year, and I'm a Wazoo guy. I love Wazoo, but I watched him last weekend. If he plays like he's been playing this season so far, he's going to give them some problems. And I do think he might make a statement to the rest, of the college football world. Like, I'm here. We're a good football team. And, Jed Fisher's a good coach. His first year was kind of a year 0. So I think this is a big game. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. So I like that call, Joel. I'm going to go number 8, Florida State at Virginia. I just want to see Tommy Castellanos and this Florida State team play on the road against a team that has probably more pop than people think. Virginia's played really well. Jamari Taylor, NC Central guy that bumped up to Virginia. Good player, good running back. So I just think Florida State's going to get tested. I want to see how they handle the test. So I think that's going to be a fun game.
Man, by the way, I like to say that I'm aware that there's not really jet lag flying east to west. I just want people to know that. But I'm just saying the travel is tough. That's all I'm saying. God damn you guys.
Not easy.
Get out of the comments, man.
It's not easy. Yeah, man, you got
You're preemptively in the comments.
I mean, yeah, man. And look, man, Chandler Morris, former TCU quarterback.
Yeah,
He's looked really good. I think and he's not turned the ball over or had a sack. Or maybe he has one interception and one sack all year, but like he's been remarkably careful with the ball so far. It's like it's hard to turn him over. It's hard to get to him. I'm not going to say that Florida State would lose this game, but again, like we don't, that first week, you got to throw that stuff out. I'd be interested. It's not beyond them to lose this game. And I feel like when I was a kid, like I have visions of like Florida State playing at Virginia on a Thursday and like Thomas Jones going off 180 yards.
There you go. Dirty.
Thomas Jones.
Yeah. Fucking terrifying. My God.
So good.
Like Thomas Jones just wreck. Remember the Florida State? They had some dogs back then, man.
I'm to Darnell Dockett. And,
who was the guy before Thomas? This was way before Thomas Jones, who played either during or right after the war done. Was it William Floyd?
Yeah, bar none. William Floyd. He played for the 49ers for a long time, too.
Played for the 40. Didn't he play for Florida State? Wasn't he fullback for Florida State?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, William Floyd had some... Thomas Jones is a fucking freak.
Bar none.
Remember what he did to the guy from North Carolina? Remember that, Tate? Remember when he ejected the guy? I think it was either North Carolina... Thomas Jones, man. Tough.
Love to see it. Love to hear it. And, Virginia football doesn't get enough love. So I love when we get like a Thomas Jones, Virginia football, little shout out there.
Yeah, shout out my dude Malik, man. That's his school too, man.
Yeah, some good players. Other notable games, TCU, number 24, TCU at Arizona State. Joel obviously got the shirt on there. Notre Dame at Arkansas, which is sort of, Arkansas can be a little bit frisky. I know they eat ice cream, and there's a lot of fans at Arkansas that are upset about Sam Pittman giving them ice cream, and that's why they're not playing well. I don't know. That's a game that could be tougher than you think. Auburn at number 9, Texas A&M. Indiana.
That's a good game.
That's a good game. Indiana at Iowa.
Yeah.
Kirk Ferentz saying that he said that Indiana reminded him of Ohio State. What a compliment. Arizona at Iowa State. Rocco Beck back in business. Number 16 Georgia Tech at Wake Forest. BYU number 25 at Colorado. UCF at Kansas State. Duke at Syracuse. Utah at West Virginia. So a lot of good football games to watch this weekend. Starting Thursday.
Couch Rot Day.
Yeah. I love the couch rot. One last thing before we get out of here. I'm going to call this segment complimentary football. You replace the E and you add an I. So we're going to be a little complimentary here. Let's pay our respects to the playmaker, Michael Irvin. Joel was fighting people in the comments. We respect Michael Irvin, right, Joel? We just want to make that point.
Look, I think, the thing is, you know what? I can admit, this is me being a man here, and I'm not going to get any credit for it, but I'm just going to step up. I can admit I overstepped when it came to Mike. You know what I mean? Like, he's a much more boisterous personality than I am. And I was like, oh man, I kind of sound like my mom, because my mom would be like, why are they doing it? Why is she dressed like that? It's just a lot of, people.
They're calling us haters. That's why we have to introduce this new segment, Complimentary Football.
He's very much like a peacock among mere mortals, Michael Irvin. And that is the way he moves.
Peacocks amongst pigeons. Yeah.
Peacocks amongst pigeons. One of my favorite West Side Gun songs is Michael Irvin. You ever cook half a brick in the air fryer?
You're doing it again. You're doing it again.
What? Oh,
you're doing it again. Don't do it.
Okay,
don't bring that up in no way, shape, or form.
My bad.
When you're talking about the playmaker, you get it. You're doing it. Don't do that. That's why it was on your ass.
It's a good song. You have cooked. But look, man, go and also, man, please go check out Michael. Did y'all know Michael Irvin has a YouTube channel?
Of course. He's cooking.
He's big and meaty.
Bruh, man, one of my favorite videos, and I shared it with y'all before we came on here, was him talking about the Cowboys hiring Brian Schottenheimer, and he's just pissed the whole fucking time. And I took two important quotes out of this thing. It says, I know man, and I do know this. I do know how to win championships. I got hardware everywhere. Ain't a piece back there fake. And I hope and pray somebody show up in that locker room and hear this and say, we will show this nigga is dead ass wrong, but I doubt it.
I doubt it.
It's just amazing, very good content. So I subscribed to the Michael Irvin YouTube page today, because I was like, damn, somebody should make Michael Irvin a coach. That's my last thing. Somebody should make him a coach.
Wait, Joe, you're going too far.
Well, no.
Okay, like Joel.
No,
Wait a second. Hold on, Joel.
No, wait.
Joel.
No, wait, man. Don't stop. Don't do this.
Joel, you're going too far.
I'm going to tell you, because I thought about it after I saw the Schottenheimer video.
No.
I thought about it after I saw the Schottenheimer video, and I was like, he can really inspire people.
But this is what, Joel?
He can really inspire people, man.
Okay.
That 47 jersey, it's different.
If Ed Reed can coach Bethune-Cookman.
There you go.
This is what I'm saying. What happened was we talked about playmaker a little bit. The Miami culture, they didn't like that. I fuck with that. I fuck with them coming up. Hey, this is one of our own. And I saw people writing mini bios in the comments. They was like, hey, just let y'all know, Michael Irvin had talks a lot about how much he's been through and all of that, and how going to Miami football games keeps him young. I looked at that and I was like, at 59, you know what I want to be doing? Going crazy on the side of LSU football games. That's dope. That's fantastic. But we can't now become a Michael Irvin based podcast. Like we can't have Michael Irvin.
All these things were true. All these things, everything.
But now
you
you're going
just
too
said,
far the other way, Joe.
We can be true.
Because Joe, what y'all also didn't see was, as these people was getting at us in the Instagram comments, I'm looking at the comments and I'm seeing
Joel's fighting the good fight.
I mean, dog, some people just, you have to call me up. Somebody call me up.
What the fuck is
somebody
going
call me
on?
a pussy or something? I was just like, dog, what's coon? What is this about, bro? Why
It was the coon
thing
thing.
Talking to people like that.
It was the coon thing that got you.
That's crazy. Yeah, man, calling me a coon, that's out of line, man. I am not a coon. I do not accept that. That is not, you call me a lot of things. A coon is not one of them. I promise.
That's what I'm saying. We in this business of college football takes and of college football content. Now, because they took a chunk out of our ass, Joe want to make Michael Irvin the coach of the Cowboys. That's cool. We can't do that. Shout out to Michael Irvin. We was playing. That's it.
Whoever was on the group chat where I said, man, they should hire Michael Irvin as to be a college coach somewhere months ago. Please remind me if you see this podcast so I can refer to that and prove to y'all that I was serious about that. I do think, I was like, man, that would be a good move for somebody to just try. But anyway, it ain't like the Miami fans punked me or nothing like that. But I mean, I did admit, I was like, you know what, man, on second thought.
But you're getting to the edge of that though.
Yeah.
By calling for him to be the coach.
I'm not glazing him or nothing like that. Don't put me on no glazer week or something like that.
You're not.
Okay. All right.
Not at all. Hold on. Fuck that. This is the creator of Slow Burn that goes in and talks about real important. We're not doing that. I'm just saying he don't need to be the coach. He could be cool watching games.
We're just paying our respects to the playmaker.
Yeah. Paying our respects to the playmaker.
That's all it is.
That motherfucking playmaker. We love you, man. We was playing. Oh, by the way, I also say the people that got at us about not knowing the siren crank, I couldn't even see that it was that. Yeah. I saw him just going crazy. And I was like, yo, what the that happened in real time.
Oh,
I'm like, yo, man, what the fuck?
Yeah, we were live. That was a live clip.
Yeah. Well, it was a live clip.
Also, like, let's not
love to Miami. Y'all doing great.
That's not like the Clemson Rock or anything either. Like, I don't want to hit, like, don't stop acting like that's some sort of big, like, huge college tradition thing, that siren. I mean,
you're kicking the
sirens everywhere. Every hockey game you go
just don't, don't do that to us. Like, that's, come on, all of us have that. So.
Yeah, shout out to the U. Shout out to everybody out there. To you in the comments. Shout out to you for following Ring Your Tailgate. Again, go follow Ring Your Tailgate. Like, subscribe, follow us on YouTube. We appreciate everybody tuning into the show. We will be live as we have been since day one. We did not do week 0, but since week 1, we have been live on Saturdays. Come hang out with us. We're having a fun time. And we're getting clipped out and we're getting chirped at, and it's beautiful stuff. We love college football. We love everybody tuning into the show. We love everybody watching along. And again, we will see you all on Saturday. Must be 21 or older and present in select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 and older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rghelp.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 27 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.